Prior to her appointment in the IMF Executive Board in 2004, Ms. Xafa worked as an economist at the IMF in Washington, D.C., and then as a financial market analyst at Salomon Brothers, Citigroup in London. She also served as Chief Economic Advisor under Prime Minister Mitsotakis in Greece. She holds a Ph.D. in economics from the University of Pennsylvania, and she has taught economics at the University of Pennsylvania in Princeton, and has published articles and papers on international financial issues, the Latin American debt crisis, and European monetary unification.
Thank you very much for inviting me. It's great to be here. I'm going to speak, as George said, about the role of the IMF in the financial crisis. But before I get to that topic, I'd like to say a few words about how the crisis started, how it developed, where we are now in terms of how advanced the crisis is and when it might be resolved. And then in the second part of the presentation, I will talk about the policy response and the role of the IMF. So I was planning to speak for about 20, maybe half an hour, so that I leave enough time for Q&A at the end. This number is actually negative. So this would be the first time in the post-war period when the global economy would actually contract. This has never happened before since the Second World War. Now, why is output falling? This started from the advanced countries. It started from the United States, and then it spread quickly to Europe and Japan, and to places as remote as Australia and New Zealand. So these were assets that were sort of constructed in the US. They were either mortgage-backed securities or what we call CDOs, collateralized debt obligations. In the emerging markets, the story is somewhat different because the emerging markets did not initially have so-called toxic assets. Their financial institutions did not have these structured products whose value declined. So initially they were not affected by the crisis. But they started being affected when two things happened. The first is that external demand and their own ability to export collapsed because the advanced countries were not growing anymore, and they reduced their imports from everywhere. And the second channel is the external financing constraint. Many of these countries rely on foreign borrowing in order to fund their imports from the developed countries that will decline. And this picture just, it's a picture worth 1,000 words because it tells you exactly what triggered what market episode. The CDS spreads is the credit default swaps. It's a form of insurance that you can buy. For example, if you have a Brazilian bond, sovereign bond, you can buy protection against default through a credit default swap. This is the picture of the 10-year government bond yields. In Europe, this is the euro area. For a long while, you can see the spreads were very, very tight. This is actually the yield itself. It's not the spread in the markets. Again, through the banking system, not just through trade, not just through exports. You can see that the Austrian banks are the most exposed to credit risk in Eastern Europe. Eastern Europe has been particularly hard hit because they have huge current account deficits, and they had externally funded credit growth. So now they are sort of fallen off a cliff in the sense that they are going through a hard landing. They were growing at rates of 6, 8, 9% with externally funded credit. And now that credit is not available, they are suffering a sudden stop, and they are sort of all queuing to borrow from the IMF. And I'll come to that in order to clean up the system. Of course, to be effective, you need comprehensive and internationally coordinated policies, and that's where the G20 and the IMF come in. So what did they agree last week? They agreed to restore confidence, growth, and jobs. And I mean, these are sort of blah, 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 big phrases. But then they put some content to it. They became much more specific to achieve all these targets. So the first was to restore growth and jobs. So they have agreed to an unprecedented fiscal expansion of $5 trillion over 2 years, 09 and 10. And they designated the IMF, they asked the IMF to assess regularly the actions taken and the global actions required. How do they plan to strengthen supervision and regulation? First, they recognize that this crisis is primarily a failure of regulation and supervision because banks did not just carry in their balance sheet these toxic products. They set up what we call special investment vehicles, separate vehicles, to hold these assets off balance sheet at excessive leverage. Banks were leveraged 40 or 50 times, meaning that the amount they owed was 40 times bigger than their capital. And they did that by holding assets off balance sheet, $50 billion in the next couple of years, to support trade finance through the export credit agencies of each of the G20 countries and through the multilateral development banks, meaning the World Bank, Inter-American Development Bank, Asian Development Bank, etc. They also promised to provide $50 billion to leaks out of low-income countries through bilateral aid for rich to poor countries, and also significantly use IMF gold sales to fund concessional financing to the low-income countries. So this flexible credit line that we talked about before, that Mexico will get, only applies to countries before it is approved. That's it. Thank you.
We have any questions?
Hi, you did mention that the G20 countries have reaffirmed their commitment to free markets and their aversion to protectionism. But how do you explain this on one hand, while on the other hand, you're witnessing more significant push towards regulation in the financial sector, and also you hear companies who are getting tax cuts and who are being bailed out, being prevented from outsourcing jobs? Isn't that anything but a mockery of free markets?
The prevention of outsourcing is a mockery of free markets, but no one is doing it overtly. Maybe they are doing it covertly.